15 fascinating facts about the Picts, Scotland's lost history. The Picts, an ancient people who lived in what is now eastern and northern Scotland during the late Iron Age and early medieval periods, have long intrigued historians and archaeologists. Who were the Picts of Scotland? Where did they come from? What did they look like? And what happened to them? Fact number 1. The true origins of the Picts are still unknown to this day. The Picts, a mysterious and enigmatic people, emerged in what is now Scotland during the late Iron Age, becoming prominent in recorded history by the late 3rd century AD. The name Pict comes from the Latin word picti, which means painted people or tattooed people. This name was likely given to them by the Romans who encountered the Picts during their expeditions northward. It's believed that the term refers to the Picts' practice of adorning their bodies with tattoos or other markings, possibly using woad, a natural dye that produces a blue color. These tattoos or body paintings might have had cultural, religious, or social significance, possibly indicating tribal affiliations or social status. The origins of the Pictish people are a subject of debate among historians and archaeologists. Some theories suggest that they were the descendants of pre-Celtic inhabitants of Scotland, while others argue that they emerged from a fusion of indigenous and Celtic cultures. Their society, although overshadowed in historical records by the more dominant cultures of the Romans and later the Scots and Vikings, played a crucial role in the early history of Scotland. The Picts' early history is shrouded in mystery, partly due to the lack of written records from the Picts themselves, leaving archaeologists to piece together their story from physical evidence and Roman accounts. Fact number 2. Historians are still trying to figure out what language the Picts spoke. The language of the Picts is one of the great enigmas in the study of ancient European languages. It is primarily known through a small number of inscriptions and place names. Scholars believe that Pictish was a Brythonic language closely related to Welsh, Cornish, and Breton, but the limited evidence has left much room for speculation and debate. The surviving inscriptions are mostly found on stone monuments and are written in an obscure script known as Ogham, alongside the unique Pictish symbols. The Pictish language seems to have been in use until around the 9th or 10th century, when it was gradually replaced by Gaelic, following the merger of the Pictish and Gaelic kingdoms under Kenneth MacAlpin. This linguistic transition marked a significant cultural shift in the region. Some place names in Scotland, such as Pit, from Pictish pet, meaning a portion of land, and aber, meaning confluence, are remnants of this lost language, providing a tantalizing glimpse into the Pictish world. However, the lack of extensive written records in the Pictish language has made it challenging for linguists to understand its structure, vocabulary, and grammar fully. This enigmatic language has become a subject of fascination for scholars who continue to unravel its secrets through the study of place names, inscriptions, and historical accounts. Fact number 3. The Picts left massive symbol stones that still stand today. One of the most iconic and enduring legacies of the Picts are their symbol stones. These standing stones, adorned with unique and mysterious symbols, are found throughout Scotland, particularly in the northeast. These stones date from around the 6th to the 9th century and are divided into two main types: Class 1 stones, which feature symbols only, and Class 2 stones, which also include Christian imagery alongside the traditional Pictish symbols. The meanings of these symbols remain a subject of debate among historians and archaeologists. Some believe they represent a form of language or script, while others think they may have been symbolic representations of clans, lineages, or individual identities. Common symbols include abstract geometric shapes, animals like the Pictish beast, an unidentified animal form, and everyday objects like mirrors and combs. The presence of these symbols in both pagan and Christian contexts suggests their importance in Pictish culture. The craftsmanship of these stones indicates a sophisticated society with skilled artisans. The Class 2 stones in particular show a fusion of Pictish and Christian art, indicating a period of religious and cultural transition. These stones are valuable for understanding the Picts, providing insights into their art, society, and beliefs. Fact number 4. Pictish society may have practiced unusual gender roles. There is evidence to suggest that the Picts may have practiced matrilineal succession, a societal structure where lineage and inheritance are traced through the mother's line rather than the father's. This is in contrast to the patrilineal systems common in many other early medieval societies. The concept of matrilineality among the Picts is primarily derived from historical records, including the writings of Bede, a 7th century Anglo-Saxon monk, and later Scottish chroniclers. According to these sources, when choosing their kings, the Picts preferred candidates from the royal line, but through the female line. This practice could mean that power and property were inherited through mothers, and it might have allowed for greater influence and status for women in Pictish society compared to contemporaneous cultures. However, the exact nature and extent of this matrilineality are still subjects of research and debate. The potential existence of matrilineality in Pictish society challenges common perceptions of societal structures in early medieval Europe and highlights the diversity of cultural practices among ancient peoples. It also raises intriguing questions about the role and status of women in Pictish society, suggesting that they may have held more power and influence than in many other contemporary cultures. Fact number 5. The Picts were master metalworkers and made incredible jewelry. The Picts were renowned for their exceptional skills in metalworking, particularly in the creation of intricate jewelry. Their craftsmanship is evident in the surviving artifacts, including brooches, pins, and necklaces, often made from silver or gold and decorated with complex designs. The Pictish craftsmen were adept at utilizing various techniques, such as filigree, where fine metal wires are twisted or soldered together, and granulation, involving the application of tiny beads of precious metal to form patterns. Among the most iconic motifs in Pictish metalwork is the Pictish beast. This symbol, also found on many Pictish stones, has intrigued historians and artists for centuries due to its mysterious nature. It is a stylized animal figure that resembles a dragon or seahorse, but its exact representation remains unknown. This motif is emblematic of the Pictish artistic style, which often blended abstract and naturalistic elements. The quality and intricacy of Pictish metalwork suggest a society with a high level of artistic achievement and a deep understanding of materials and techniques. These artifacts provide valuable insights into the aesthetics, culture, and social structures of the Pictish people. Fact number 6. The Picts were ingenious builders, and their structures still stand today. The Picts are well known for their impressive fortifications, which include hill forts and brochs. Hill forts, typically located on high ground, were made using earthworks or timber and served as strongholds and community centres. Brochs, on the other hand, are a unique type of structure found in Scotland, particularly in Pictish territories. These are tall, round, dry stone towers, often with an intricate internal layout including staircases and chambers within the thick walls. The most famous of these structures is the Broch of Mouser in Shetland, the best preserved broch in existence. It stands around 13 meters high and provides an excellent example of this type of building. The construction techniques used in brochs demonstrate the Picts' advanced understanding of engineering and architecture. These fortifications played a critical role in the Picts' defense strategies, especially during the periods of Roman incursions and later Viking invasions. The location and construction of these structures also reflect the Picts' deep connection with their landscape, utilizing natural features for defense and visibility. Fact number 7. The Pictish people adopted a new faith and spirituality. The conversion of the Picts to Christianity was a pivotal event in their history and had a profound impact on their culture. This transition began in the 6th century and was largely influenced by Irish missionaries. The most notable among these missionaries was Saint Columba, who founded the monastery at Iona in 563 AD, which became a center for the Christianization of Scotland. The adoption of Christianity led to significant changes in Pictish society. Pagan practices and beliefs gradually gave way to Christian ones, and this shift is reflected in the Pictish art and inscriptions of the period. The Class II Pictish stones, for instance, display a mix of traditional Pictish symbols and Christian motifs such as crosses and biblical scenes. The establishment of monasteries and churches played a vital role in the spread of literacy and learning in Pictish territories. These religious centers became hubs for the production of illuminated manuscripts, religious artifacts, and the chronicling of contemporary events, contributing significantly to our understanding of Pictish history and culture. Fact number 8. The Picts successfully fought off the Romans and Vikings. The Picts are renowned for their resilience and military prowess, particularly in their successful resistance against Roman invasion attempts and later battles against Viking invaders. During the Roman conquests of Britain, the Picts, along with other tribes in Scotland, presented a formidable challenge to Roman expansion. The Roman Emperor Hadrian, recognizing the difficulty of subduing these northern tribes, built Hadrian's Wall around 122 AD, effectively marking the northern limit of Roman Britain. In the later centuries, as Viking raids intensified, the Picts faced a new and formidable threat. The Vikings began attacking Pictish territories in the 8th century, leading to numerous conflicts. Despite these challenges, the Picts managed to maintain their independence for several centuries before gradually merging with the Gaelic-speaking Scots. These conflicts had a significant impact on Pictish society, shaping their military strategies, fortifications, and alliances. The Picts' ability to resist these powerful adversaries attests to their strength and resilience as a people. Fact number 9. Pictish food was likely delicious and plentiful. The Picts were primarily an agricultural society, with farming playing a central role in their daily life and economy. They cultivated a variety of crops, including barley, oats, and wheat, and also raised livestock such as cattle, sheep, and pigs. The fertile lands of Scotland provided a rich resource for these activities. In addition to agriculture, hunting and fishing were important for the Pictish diet and culture. The abundant forests, rivers, and seas in their territory offered a rich supply of game, fish, and other resources. Archaeological evidence suggests that the Picts lived in small, rural communities, with settlements often consisting of simple, round houses made from wattle and daub or stone. Their farming practices were likely similar to those of other early medieval societies, involving a combination of arable farming and pastoralism. The Picts' skills in agriculture and hunting not only sustained their communities but also played a role in their social and ritual life. Feasting, for example, was an important aspect of Pictish culture, and the abundance of food from farming and hunting would have been central to these gatherings. Fact number 10. Pictish kings were fundamental to their society. The Pictish society was ruled by a monarchy, and their kings played a crucial role in the political, military, and religious life of the people. However, much of the information about Pictish kingship and governance comes from later sources, which can be fragmentary and sometimes contradictory. The Picts had a unique system of succession, which, as mentioned earlier, may have been matrilineal. This system meant that kingship was often passed through the female line, a practice unusual in early medieval Europe. The list of Pictish kings includes notable figures like Breton III, who defeated the Northumbrian king Ecgfrith at the Battle of Dun Nectine in 685, a significant event in Pictish history. The kings were not just political leaders, but also held religious and ceremonial roles. They were often involved in the patronage of religious establishments and participated in ritual activities. The role of the Pictish kings in the transition to Christianity was particularly significant, as they were instrumental in promoting the new religion within their domains. Fact number 11. Tattoos may have been extremely common in Pictish life. The Picts are famously associated with the practice of tattooing, a detail that is believed to be the origin of their name given by the Romans, Picti, meaning painted people. Roman writers, including Herodian and Julius Caesar, mentioned the Picts' distinctive body art, suggesting that they tattooed or painted their bodies with intricate designs, possibly using woad, a plant that yields a blue dye. This body art may have had several purposes: as a form of identification, indicating clan membership or social status, as a protective symbol in battle, or for ritualistic or religious reasons. The exact designs and their meanings, however, are lost to history, as no detailed descriptions or depictions survive. In addition to their tattoos, the Picts' overall appearance and clothing are subjects of speculation. They likely wore clothing suitable for the Scottish climate, made from wool and animal hides. Jewelry, such as brooches and necklaces, also played a role in their dress, serving both decorative and functional purposes. Fact number 12. The Pictish people vanished from the pages of history. The decline of the Picts as a distinct cultural and political entity occurred over the 9th and 10th centuries. This period saw the merging of the Picts with the Gaels, a process largely completed under King Kenneth MacAlpin, a figure of both Gaelic and Pictish heritage. This union laid the foundations for the medieval Kingdom of Scotland. Several factors contributed to the decline of the Picts. The repeated Viking raids and settlements in their territories weakened Pictish power. Additionally, the gradual cultural assimilation with the Gaels, intensified by the spread of Christianity and intermarriage, led to the blending of the two cultures. The Gaelic language and customs gradually became dominant, eclipsing the Pictish language and many aspects of their culture. Despite this assimilation, the Picts left a lasting impact on Scottish history and culture. Their artistic and architectural legacy in particular has continued to influence Scottish art and identity. Fact number 13. The Picts were skilled artists and their artwork is still used today. Pictish art is renowned for its distinctiveness and intricacy, providing a window into the culture and beliefs of this ancient people. It is characterized by its use of intricate knotwork, animal forms, and warrior figures, which are often depicted in a stylized manner. This art form is evident in their stone carvings, metalwork, and possibly in tattoos, although direct evidence of the latter is limited. Pictish artists excelled in creating abstract and complex designs, which were often symmetrical and involved interlaced patterns. Animal figures in Pictish art, such as the Pictish beast, birds, and fish, are highly stylized, sometimes to the point of being almost unrecognizable as real creatures. This abstract nature of Pictish art suggests it may have had symbolic or ritual significance. The influence of Pictish art continued well beyond the disappearance of a distinctly Pictish culture, contributing significantly to the broader field of Celtic art. It influenced the artistic traditions of Scotland and Ireland, with its styles and motifs appearing in later medieval art forms. Fact number 14. Pictish queens may have held significant influence. Historical records, including annals and chronicles, mention several powerful Pictish queens, indicating that women may have held significant power and status in Pictish society. This is further suggested by the possible practice of matrilineal succession in the Pictish royal line. These female figures, some of whom may have ruled in their own right or acted as regents, reflect a complex societal structure in which women could wield considerable influence. The role of these queens in diplomacy, governance, and the patronage of religious institutions was likely substantial, although the exact nature of their power and how it was exercised remains a matter of historical conjecture. The acknowledgement of powerful women in Pictish society challenges traditional narratives about the roles of women in early medieval Europe, suggesting a level of gender equality, or at least a different gender dynamic compared to many contemporary cultures. Fact number 15. The Pictish legacy lives on through the Scottish people and modern Scotland. The Picts have left an indelible mark on Scottish culture and history. Their legacy is evident in various aspects of modern Scotland, from place names and folklore to art and national identity. The mystery and intrigue surrounding the Picts, due in part to the scant direct historical records, have only added to their allure and cultural significance. Pictish symbols, such as those found on standing stones, have become iconic representations of Scotland's ancient past. These symbols, along with Pictish art and architecture, continue to influence contemporary Scottish art and design. The Pictish beast, for example, is a recurring motif in modern Scottish iconography. The story of the Picts, their resistance to Roman and Viking invasions, and their eventual integration into the Gaelic culture that formed the basis of early Scottish kingdom, are central themes in the narrative of Scotland's formation. This history is celebrated and explored in Scottish education, museums, and cultural institutions. Moreover, archaeological sites associated with the Picts, such as the remains of their hill forts and brochs, as well as the symbol stones, are important tourist attractions and sources of local pride. They offer tangible connections to Scotland's early history and are a testament to the Picts' architectural and artistic skills. While the Picts as a distinct people may have faded into history, their influence continues to be felt in modern Scotland, contributing to the nation's rich cultural heritage and sense of historical identity. Their legacy is a reminder of the diverse and complex tapestry of human history in the British Isles. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more fascinating history content.